Hello friends and fellow artifact hunters. I decided today that I wanted to go and retrace the steps on some of the artifacts that I found metal detecting. And I didn't have my camera with me last time I went. I'm going to go through and then I'm going to put the pictures of what I found out here on my property. The ones that are a mystery to me, I'll mention in the video here in just a minute, and hopefully I can get some help figuring out what they are. What I have here, my metal detector is a Time Ranger Bounty Hunter. There we go, she's ready to find some metals. So the first area I came to earlier this year was right down here. I started getting a hit right about here. So it was right along the edge of this wood line here, which I didn't understand it. So what I ended up finding was these round donut looking things that were made out of metal, and they were about a foot deep in the ground. And then I found another one, and then I found another one, and they were 6 feet apart. So I think there was a total of 4 of them in a row. It was like 1, 2, 3, 4. And then right up here, I found one of those metal things that they use in the fireplace. So I was finding that fireplace iron. It got me wondering if this used to be an old home site here, and maybe the reason for having these donut looking metal pieces in the ground every 6 feet or so, you know, maybe that was some type of plumbing. I'm not really sure. So if any of you out there know, leave me a comment if you have an idea. What I have with me for my tools are my Garrett metal detectors bag, my metal detector, and then I've got this, which is used for if I wanted to do any gold mining or any mining in the water. And then I've got this, I mostly use it down at the creek if I want to scoop out rocks. Metal detector knife, which comes in handy for digging stuff out when it's really deep, especially if it's in clay. And I've got my pin pointer, which works really well. Alright, so walking along, about not too far from where I was just at, right over there. And I got another hit. I'm get my shovel over here and start digging. Alright, so I got it dug this deep with the shovel. Got my pin pointer out. It's showing right in here. Some kind of wood. Of course, I don't know, it might be a root, it might be on the other side of that root. Here's what I got. I guess that'd be a piece of it's a piece of metal, but it's a piece of off of a tractor, a hoe, or blade of some sort. But I wanted to walk down and show where I actually found an axe head, which I'll place the picture right here. I've since filled in a lot of dirt down this area, but I dug up an axe head here, and also a part of a plow for plowing for potatoes, and a couple other metal pieces that I dug up in this area. And then over this way, a knapsack rivet, and I also found an old button that dated back in the late 1700s. So I just walked over here from that far line of trees back that way. Something else I thought about was I found the bottom of it looks like a brass piece off of the bottom of a furniture leg, and also found the knapsack rivet and the old button and a belt buckle. And then back in the woods where I was at, I found some teeth off of, it looks like some old plow teeth. What was interesting was in this area, before I built my shop here, I went ahead and did some metal detecting, because I figured if I don't do it then I'll never get a chance to again. So I found a bunch of little pieces of like melted aluminum, and I found it in several spots. So I got to thinking maybe finding those pieces of melted aluminum that were campsites. Stoneman's raid during the Civil War went from Salisbury to Statesville, and maybe they did some camping in this area. So if they had a fires and they had cans and they burnt their cans in the fire, then that could be why I come up with these little pieces of melted aluminum. I looked on some old maps during the Civil War, and it appears that Stoneman's raid took the path about 2 miles south of here. So it's very possible they could have branched off, you know, because this road could tend to be a shortcut over to another major road going to another city and they could have cut through here and decided to camp out in this particular spot. Down at the creek, right about here, I found this right here, about a foot deep, with my metal detector, and as you can guess, metal detector was going crazy. So I figured it's probably an exhaust pipe off of an old tractor, most likely, or an old car, because over there is a car tire over on the bank. Right up here in the creek, about 8 inches deep, I would say, we found this piece. Maybe it's from the same car or tractor as the exhaust piece I found over there. Hey, Charlie. Here's Scarlet. That's all I really had time to look for today. I really want to know what those round metal pieces are, like if they're old fence posts, or if they're parts of old plumbing. Click like and subscribe if you like, and but the main thing I wanted to do today is put this out there so that people can go on and comment and let me know what you think the pieces are in the pictures.